what? I was completely pain-free. I want to prove it to you by you taking the 3-week quick start from Relief Factor. It's only $19.95. Do you know 80% of those who take the quick start order again? We know it works. So if your pain isn't worth the price of a cup of coffee a day to lower, then you're not in much pain. If it is worth it, try the 3-week quick start. ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384. Relief Factor.
94.5 WGTK, The Answer.
Welcome back, Americans. Hugh Hewitt. Food for the Poor has thanked you. I want to thank you again, people making contributions. It's much appreciated at HughHewitt.com. I am joined now by United States Senator Lindsey Graham from the great state of South Carolina. Good morning, Senator. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Hugh, how are you doing?
I'm terrific. I want to begin by saying I appreciate greatly the photo that you sent out of yourself with Senator McCain and Senator Lieberman. Good friends coming to be with their pal at a time of great trial. How's the senator doing?
Amazingly well. He completed his chemo and radiation treatment. He's doing the MRI later on to see how well it did and come up with therapy solutions. And good spirits. Tough old bird. That's all I can say.
Thank you it's still good to put that out there. Now let's go to Donald Trump, who's tweeting at the Senate this morning. 15 minutes ago, he tweeted out, I requested that Mitch M. and Paul Laura tie the debt ceiling legislation into the popular VA bill, Perez, which just passed, for easy approval. They didn't do it, so now we have a big deal with Dems holding them up, as usual, on debt ceiling approval. Could have been easy. Now a mess. Your reaction, Senator Graham?
Well, President Trump is thinking the right way in terms of putting combinations together that will get Democratic votes. Here's the problem. You're going to lose about a dozen plus House guys on the Republican side because they can never vote to raise the debt ceiling. And that means you got to go by Democrats, find a vehicle that Democrats have to vote for, tie it together. And I like the approach. Whether the VA bill is the right approach, I don't know, but I like the idea to come up with, which is marrying it up with something they need.
Is these stories about tension between the leader and the president overstating the ordinary?
I think it's, there's nothing ordinary about Donald Trump. So the first thing you got to realize is it's not an ordinary guy. It's not ordinary times. So Mitch is trying to navigate a 52-seat majority and get big things done with no Democratic support. It's tough. The president's frustrated. I've been on your show, and this block grant approach is taking off like you would not believe. We had a great meeting yesterday, and I think we're going to pull a rabbit out of a hat on a health care reform. But the president's frustrated. For 7 years, we promised to rebuild and replace. You just can't move on and say, all right, well, we tried our best when we have not. But Mitch is very strong in the conference. People support him as our leader, and we're all dealing with President Trump the best way we can. And he is frustrated about not fulfilling promises, so am I. Let's take another shot at healthcare.
There's nothing ordinary about Donald Trump is maybe going to be the understatement of the year, Senator Graham. He just tweeted out a retweet of a 4-frame photograph of him moving over President Obama's image, underscored best eclipse ever. So you think that's funny? It is funny, but he's going to get killed for that. I mean, he's going to get hammered over and over.
I think it's very good. Okay, so here's the media has gone absolutely insane over his insanity. So the point is that the president can be very disciplined. His Afghan speech was excellent in terms of substance and tone. He listened to the generals, unlike President Obama, who ignored sound military advice. President Trump's going to take it. He goes to Phoenix and kind of goes nuts on stage, but that's Donald Trump. I'm going to work with him where I can. I actually like the guy. And, he's a street fighter from New York, and nothing's going to change.
But when you say the media's gone insane over his insanity, you don't really mean he's insane. Listen to Don Lemon 2 nights ago. I found this to be an abdication of professionalism on a level that I have not heard before. And I like Don Lemon. I've been on his show a lot when I used to do CNN stuff. But just listen to this.
Well, what do you say to that? I'm just going to speak from the heart here. What we have witnessed was a total eclipse of the facts. Someone who came out on stage and lied directly to the American people and left things out that he said in an attempt to rewrite history, especially when it comes to Charlottesville. He's unhinged. It's embarrassing. I don't mean for us, the media, because he went after us, but for the country. This is who we elected president of the United States? A man who is so petty that he has to go after people who he deems to be his enemy, like an imaginary friend of a 6-year-old? His speech was without thought. It was without reason. It was devoid of facts. It was devoid of wisdom. There was no gravitas. There was no sanity there. He was like a child blaming a sibling on something else. He did it. I didn't do it. He certainly opened up the race wound from Charlottesville. A man clearly wounded by the rational people who are abandoning him in droves, meaning those business people and the people in Washington now who are questioning his fitness for office and whether he is stable. A man backed into a corner, it seems, by circumstances beyond his control and beyond his understanding.
So Senator Graham lied, unhinged, embarrassing, petty, imaginary friend, no sanity, clearly wounded, fitness, stable. What do you make of that?
I hear that every day about me. Breaking news. He won, Don. That's being exactly the way it was in Phoenix. He won giving these kind of speeches. The people at CNN, they're literally, he's driving them crazy. Trump is making a political decision here to be presidential, listen to the generals, then to go back to his base and fire them up, put pressure on the Senate and the House to do things he wants. He's not the first president to use the bully pulpit to try to push the country in a particular direction or to keep his base on board. He's making a conscious decision to let his base know that when I said I want to build a wall, I meant to build a wall. He's running against Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and others. The Congress is very unpopular, particularly with the Republican base. So there's nothing unhinged about it. It's a political strategy that I'm not so sure is smart, but it's a very thought-out strategy. There's nothing crazy about it. It's a political strategy.
Thank you for saying that. That is exactly what I've been trying to tell people. We have a coalition government in the United States right now, the party of President Trump and the congressional Republicans. And coalition governments get sparky occasionally. They fray and they run into each other, but they don't fall apart. They go back to their corners and they beat up on each other, but they don't fall apart. And this one's not going to fall apart. Now, talk to me about the debt ceiling, Senator Graham, because why can't we attach it to example the repeal of the BCA and the building of the wall and defy Democrats to vote to both default on our debt obligations, default on our security, and default on our military forces? Why can't we do that?
I don't think that's a particularly bad strategy. So what you do is, how about let's play in politics with the majority for a change? We've been on defense ever since I've been up there. We got the floor. We can determine what comes to the floor. Let's take some hard votes. Let's make Democrats say no to raising the debt ceiling, no to funding the troops, no to helping veterans. See how many of them break. I don't know why we don't do that. And I think that's what President Trump is saying. I'd like to make it to the other side. I want to work with them. I got a reputation of working across the aisle, but they have no problem at all of popping us in the face. Let's pop them back.
Because as I recall the debt ceiling debates of the past many years, it was always the Republicans were putting the full faith and credit of the United States at risk, and it was a horrible thing. So if you attach building the border fence to that, or the repeal of the BCA, which is the most important thing to me with regards to the Pentagon, they should suffer the same rhetoric, which is they're putting that full faith and credit of the United States at risk for their political ends.
We should use our majority in a clever way. So if you had putting the country at default in building walls, so that's like over to nobody wants to fall off the debt, and almost everybody wants to secure the border. That's a pretty good combination. Most everybody with half a brain understands the military has been gutted because of sequestration, and they need relief yesterday. I'm on board. They do this to us. We got to work together.